What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Work in Progress After Dark podcast. My name is Brent, and I
My
got
name
my.
is Casey.
That's right. We are here to finally talk about video games. We've been talking about manga and anime a lot, and it was high time to finally have a video game discussion. And Casey picked a good one for us. Casey, what's tonight's topic?
So, tonight's topic would be old video games that we actually love because there is always so much talk about what is going on with the new video games that are about to be
Mm-hmm.
released. And of course, they're always compared to old video games. So, it's like, well, what old video games do we hold near and dear to our heart?
Yes, sir. Okay, so uh let I, let's hop into it. Casey, it was your topic, so why don't you kick things off? Oh, okay. So we need to specify what qualifies as an old game. And we agreed 2010 and before, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So anything prior to 2010, so I guess that would be 2 generations ago. I feel like that's or yeah, yeah,
In like technology or video game sense, kind
10
of,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. So okay, so those are the rules. Any 2010 and before. Um, so Casey, why don't you kick us off?
All right. Well, I mean, if we're going from like 2010, first off, there were actually a lot of games that came out that I did play during that time.
Man,
Like,
that was a good
hey,
period.
oh, that was a really good period. I mean, even
Great
for like
period.
some very small unknown games, um, let's go ahead and hit off with like the big ones. Bioshock 2 and Fallout New Vegas. I know you do not like New Vegas, really.
I'm one of the few people on the planet who does not like New Vegas.
And I am one of the people that will definitely like go against you on that. However, I'm actually going to go even farther back.
Okay.
We've all discussed Chrono Trigger. Chrono
Yes.
Trigger, I freaking love. I love all the characters. I love the storyline. And I also just love how they do the whole time manipulation thing.
Mm.
The other two games that I do want to bring up is the very first Digimon World
Okay.
and Monster Rancher.
Okay.
And the and when I say Monster Rancher, I mean Monster Rancher 4 because that was the very first Monster Rancher game I actually got into. And I am a very weird person. I do enjoy roguelite games and rogue type games, as well as just raising games.
Sure.
And Monster Rancher and Digimon, they were like the epitome of monster raising games.
Sure.
You literally only have one monster in Digimon World that you train and you watch evolve as you go on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love that whole aspect of finding a partner that you actually grow with as the game goes on, instead of just finding multiple people and having all these different arcs.
Are you gonna check out Digimon Survive?
Dude, that has literally been on my list. In fact, that has actually been coming up on my own Facebook feed.
Yeah.
And I was literally like looking up and seeing, do I want to get this game on my next paycheck? And from what I'm literally seeing here is the fact that it's actually been doing really good on Steam. Like it has a 9 grade on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead and double check.
I wish that it was dubbed in English. Like I'm bummed that although Digimon is popular here in the US, it's not popular enough for their games to
Mhm.
be like fully localized.
Well, you
Uh
also have to blame Pokemon for that because
yeah.
Digimon has been seen as the what's the word I'm looking for? The
Antithesis.
I don't want to say antithesis. I want to say more like the downgrade of Pokemon.
I don't know. I think it's an upgrade. I think it's quality over quantity. If you know what I mean. Like
I actually kind of have to agree with you on that point.
like
A lot of the times when it comes to like Pokemon games, it's always try to catch them all unless you're doing a Nuzlocke, which is
mhm,
so freaking hard. And you know that I have done Nuzlocke runs and I hate them, but I love them.
sure.
But
Okay,
definitely when it
so
comes to Digimon, I have always been a lover of Digimon games. Period. I don't necessarily like how they do things, but I do love how they have evolved and how it goes. And it also just seems like Digimon Survive is more like a tactics game, kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics, or oh, what's that one? Um, the one with the aliens. I'm trying to think of it right now. I cannot think of it. What is it? Oh, give me a couple moments. Go ahead and
okay.
go.
Okay, so I guess we should get back on topic of what tonight's topic is, and that is old video games. So so I don't want to breeze through the topic too quickly, but I do have several old video games. Like honestly, like if I had to get stuck in a room for the rest of my life with only like maybe 5 video games, it would probably only consist of like older video games, like with
Mhm.
the exception of being one, and that would be God of War 2018. But everything else would probably be old. Like so I frequently tell people like what are my like people ask me is like what would you say are like your 3 favorite games of all time, and it would be God of War 2018, Mass Effect 2, and Resident Evil 4. And Mass Effect 2 and Resident Evil 4 fall within our criteria for old games tonight.
Mhm.
Mass Effect 2 was released January, like January of 2010, and of course like Resident Evil 4 was released in 2014, or not
Mhm.
2014, 2004 or 2005. So but and like I know Mass Effect 2 and Resident Evil 4 like the back of my hand. Like I know those games like inside and out. Now, don't get me wrong, Mass Effect 2 is a little bit more straightforward, and a lot of everything that you can get is on the surface. But like I played Resident Evil 4 enough times to know where everything is at. I know where everything is at in that game, and there's a lot of crap in that game.
So,
Like
so here's my question for you: can you do a speed run?
can I do a? I don't speed run. That takes away the enjoyment of a game. Like in my opinion, that does. But like kudos to people who do. Like there is this guy. There's this guy on YouTube. I forgot his channel name is, but his whole thing is getting refunds from Steam.
Oh, I've heard about him. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Now I'm sure that the thing is like I'm sure that like so like I look at some of this stuff and he's like, "Oh, 100, get all the trophies in one playthrough." And I'm like, "That's really hard to do in a Resident Evil game because a lot of Resident Evil games, their trophies are locked behind difficulty spikes, and you can only unlock difficulty spikes by having beaten the prior difficulty spikes." So like I'm curious if he uses like some kind of um I'm curious if he uses some kind of like mod that allows him to just get into the hardest difficulty right away
Mhm.
when he does those. And of course, I'm sure that he's got like 2 separate Steam accounts, right? He's got a Steam account for his refund, and he's probably got his normal Steam account where like he buys the game and like plays them to death, memorizing them in and out. So
Mhm.
like not to take away from his accomplishments, but like it's like we know that like you're definitely like you've bought in these games before, and like you're buying them again just to get a refund, which is fine. But like sometimes I'm worried that people think that he's just doing this right away. Um, um in any case, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. So yeah. Um So yeah, I mean, Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games ever made, and I'm dreadfully concerned about the remake. Dreadfully concerned about the remake.
Really? Because I know a
Or,
lot of people are actually looking forward to the new remake of Resident Evil 4.
well, okay, maybe I should revise my statement. Okay, I am concerned. I think that it's too soon. I think that it's
Mhm.
too soon. Code Veronica should have been done first. Resident
I
Evil 4
can't
too
disagree
soon.
with you on that one.
Code Veronica should have been done first. It's the next game. It's the next game, like chronologically in the story, and it's the next game that could use that third person, that like third person over the shoulder like um remake um uh treatment. Whereas Resident Evil 4, like the original Resident Evil 4, it's still like, I mean, it still plays pretty good. Um and like it still looks pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's, it's, the game is, it's like, what is it now? Like, what is it? Like 16 years old,
Mhm.
17 years old. Like, I get it. It's, it definitely looks dated, but like there are like, how do I put it? Like there's like PS4 games that look worse than that game.
Mhm.
Um so but yeah, Resident Evil 4, great. Mass
Well,
Effect 2, great. Um I could play Mass Effect 2 all day every day. Um not that, I mean, that's but I actually have three old games sitting here with me that I purchased when I found my PlayStation 2.
oh, show
Um
them. Show them.
Show them. Okay. So um we all know, so here's the first two. So I've got three here. So here's the first two. We all know these games. We all know them. We all love them. The movie tie-ins for the Lord of the Rings, both of them.
Dude, I remember playing that.
The
I remember playing
the
that
Two
with
Towers and
friends.
Return of the King. Those like those games, those two games are fire. Like straight fire. I like, and like they're so replayable. Like
Mhm.
they're incredibly replayable. Like you play through the game once, you unlock a bunch of abilities, and then you go through the game again, and it kind of becomes like, it's this arcade style thing where like your goal is to constantly improve your score on each level, but because you're constantly unlocking new abilities that will help you like get like talk about, there needs to be speed runs of these. Like there needs to be speed runs of these games. Like how fast can you get through a stage, and then how fast can you get through the overall mission? Um,
Mhm.
that would be pretty cool. Um, uh, but both are fantastic, and like it's cool. Like they got the original, they got the actors to come in and do the voice acting, and even maybe and I don't think they did mocap. I think this was before. Maybe they did do some motion capture. Um, but yeah, like these are like incredible games for like considering like when they were made, which would
So,
have been
so,
like 2002, 2003.
so,
um,
going off of what you're just saying, I literally just looked up the Two Towers for speed running, and yes, people do speed run these
oh, good,
games.
good,
So, and if any of you that are listening to this, if you actually like check out speedruns, they are very interesting because it's these people that have played games so many times that they understand what they need to do in order to make things go faster. And it is ridiculous how they can take a game that takes probably like 15, 20 hours and they can literally cut it down to like 2 hours,
right.
if that.
Well, like I mean, I think both of these Lord of the Rings games, I think they're probably like 6 hours max.
Mhm.
Remember back in the day, if you bought a game that was 6 to 8 hours for full price, nobody complained.
Well, except for Force Unleashed 2. Everybody
For,
complained about that one.
that was probably the beginning of it. That was probably the beginning of like people complaining about pricing. Like I think
Yeah,
to like
but
2000, like 2008 to 2012 is when people started complaining, and now it's just the thing. Um, but no, so like here's another one of my favorite games, Star Fox. Star Fox
mhm.
64. Now, albeit that game is heavily replayable,
Mhm.
but you can beat Andros in 45 minutes.
Mhm.
Less. You can clear the game in like 30 in like um in like 30 minutes or less, and then you can essentially, like, I guess for the lack of a better term, 100% it in like maybe 6 hours. That's when I say 100% it, I mean like knowing how to get to each planet and going all the various like routes through the system.
Mhm. Well,
Um
even on top of that, isn't there a Legend of Zelda that you can literally beat in like 30 minutes?
I don't know. I've
Because
never heard of that.
there is one. I'm trying. It's a Link to the Past. I'm trying to look it up right now. Um, but there is a part in the game where you can literally glitch the game
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
at
That
the
doesn't
very
count.
beginning of it.
No, glitching doesn't count. No,
No, no. I
this
will
like
state,
using
if you're doing a
no.
speed run, if you're doing a speed run and you're trying to beat the game as fast as possible, it's kind of the same thing as taking an arrow or a bow and arrow to the dragon in Dark Souls.
That's okay.
You literally
So
use any advantage that you can take.
if you have to see, here's the thing where I completely disagree. Okay, this is where I completely disagree on the topic of speedruns. If you have to use glitches to beat the game faster, then in my opinion, it's not a legit speedrun. A legit speedrun is when you're playing the game how it's supposed to be played without using any kind of like mistake that the developers put in. Like then like if you're clipping it, no, like that doesn't count. Sorry, that doesn't count.
I don't know. I mean, even if you think about like normal games, I mean, as I stated, one of my favorite games is Digimon World, and you literally do have to glitch the game in order to make sure that you do not get stuck, kind of thing.
So are you talking about like a game breaking glitch?
It is a game breaking glitch because if you talk
That's
to.
different. Okay, that's different. If you have to avoid a game breaking glitch in order to like get to the end, then like I can understand that. However, these people when they do speedruns, they're not using game breaking glitches. They're just using glitches in the matrix to to warp themselves from one part to another part without actually playing the game.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like that's my whole thing. That's my whole thing.
I would normally agree with you. At the same time, I kind of have to hand it to them for realizing that there is a point where you can. I think it's like one of the first walls that you can jump over, and they realize that you can jump over that wall and get to the final boss. That I do seem like, okay, I can understand. But a lot of people, they don't actually see that as doing a speed run. It's mainly more along lines of, just, oh, I beat the game in under 30 minutes when it would normally take them like an hour or two to beat the game itself. It's more of like just like a fun thing of, I can do this kind of thing.
Okay, but here's the thing. I don't so legit speedrunning records have been given to people who glitch through the game. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with people using glitches to be named the fastest player in the world in this particular game. I don't agree with that. If you're like on YouTube and like, haha, I got a speed run for glitching through this, then okay, fine. But like don't 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 claim to be the fastest player in the world on something.
You want them to actually have the substance. You want them to actually have
Exactly.
gone through the
Yes.
game.
Yes. Yes.
I can
Yes.
completely agree with you. That's why I do kind of like take that more half-heartedly, where it's just like, okay, but that's not how the game was set up. So you're obviously not playing by the game's rules, kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like to get I think that's the best. I think that's the best way to put it, right? Okay, so to get a legit speedrunning record, you need to play by the game's rules.
Mm-hmm.
You need to. It's kind of like I think this is probably a super grandiose um this is like a super grandiose like comparison. But have you ever seen the movie Free Solo?
I don't think I have actually.
Okay, so Free Solo is about this guy
Mm-hmm.
who Alex Honnold, he's a rock climber and he free soloed El Capitan in Yosemite. And that means climbing up that 3,000-foot rock without any ropes or equipment. He climbed it with his bare hands. And in order for him to do that, he couldn't cheat, he couldn't do anything. He had to practice for many, many years, with ropes, with equipment, with other people. He had to practice many, 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 many years in order to not die. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't cheat. Like there's no cheating there. He like if he cheated, then it wouldn't be he had to play by the rules of the craft that he was mastering, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
extreme precision. Okay. So I think people who want legit speed runs need to play the game the way that it's meant to be played with extreme precision. Like you can't mess up. If you mess up, if you
So
mess up, you're screwed.
so then here's my question for you on this part.
Okay, I'm getting. I don't know why I'm getting so worked up over
Oh,
this.
that's good. That's good. What about the people that they're speed running, but they're speed running with items that they collected from previous runs? For example, Resident Evil. A lot of the times when people are doing speed runs, they are using infinite ammo. They're using the
so,
best guns because
so
they've already gone through it.
okay, so um now that's when you need to start specifying what kind of speed run you're doing, right? Okay.
Mhm,
So for example, to get the platinum trophy for Resident Evil 3 remake, I essentially had to speed run the game. I had to
mhm,
play the game. I had to play the game on the hardest difficulty um in under 2 hours with only 3 saves. Okay?
mhm,
So I had to know the game fairly well in
mhm.
order to feel confident only saving 3 times, and I had to know where to. Okay, I'm getting off topic. So naturally, for me, with my particular skill level, um, I mean, like I could easily post my speed run. I think I beat it in like an hour and 45 minutes.
Mhm.
I could easily post my speed run to YouTube and be like, oh, here's this and here's that. Here's it. But like I would probably like the thing is like it's not the most impressive speed run because I was using the infinite ammo. I was using the infinite ammo guns. I was using the rocket launcher the pretty much the entire time, the infinite ammo rocket launcher. We're
Mhm.
way off topic now, but we'll get
Oh,
back to it.
totally.
Um,
I
uh,
I actually do have one that actually kind of connects both of these together. So
okay,
go ahead and continue.
so for example, like that guy that I was talking about who speed runs to get refunds back from Steam, like he does some impressive speed runs. He will do 100%. He will do 100% speed runs. That's literally starting
Mhm.
from 0 and ending at 100%. Now that is an impressive speed run. Um and
That honestly
I
just sounds crazy to me.
it's nuts. Okay, so I feel like I've deterred away from the question. So, so your question was what qualifies as a speed run? What Wait, repeat your question.
Is okay. So what does qualify as a speed run? Like you were saying, like somebody that does things over and over again, but if they're using things that were not available at the very beginning, does that qualify then?
That's just that's just trying to get trophies. um, um,
I
I
actually do have a
I
specific example in mind
I
when
could
I'm talking about it.
I could say that I speed ran. I could technically say that that I did a speed run. I had to speed run in order to get the platinum trophy for Resident Evil 3 Remake.
Mhm.
But I guess you could say that it's not something that I would boast about.
Mhm.
Um, I I I guess like I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. You know what I mean? Like you know, if you've earned what needs to be earned to get a really fat I guess it depends on, I don't know. It's hard to say because some people would completely disagree with what I'm saying. Um um Sometimes I can completely disagree with what I'm saying. Uh Words. Fuck.
Words coming out of the
Yeah.
mouth, sounds. Well, I guess also the reason why I'm kind of asking about this is one, like I do know that some YouTubers have gone doing Resident Evil 8, which not an old game, but they have done Resident Evil 8 in under 2 hours. However,
Well,
they've
see,
used the weapons.
yeah, okay. So the thing is, like, you honestly probably part of Resident Evil 8's probably part of Resident Evil 8's platinum trophy is to get an S rank. Is to get an
Mhm.
S rank, which means beating the game hardcore S rank, under 2 hours, less than 3 saves, or less than 4 saves.
Right.
You know, so like, yeah, I mean, like those can be seen as legit speed runs. It's part of it's, but like I think the hardcore speedrunning
Jesus.
community would disagree.
Okay.
Does that make
So
sense?
it does, and oh boy, don't breathe into the microphone, buddy. Um, Sorry, Bo just jumped up into my
No
lap.
problem.
Um, so the other thing that I want to bring up, and yes, this is an old game, or I should say it's a mod of an old game that's also old itself,
Hmm.
before 2010. Have you ever heard of Kaizo Mario?
No.
Okay, Brett, after we do our podcast, you should look up Kaizo Mario. It is a mod that somebody did to troll their friend, and it has gained a lot of internet infamy because
Ah, okay.
it is literally the hardest Mario game out there, and it's modded after Super Mario World.
Okay.
And this mod came out in 2007.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I've heard of this.
You
Oh,
probably have. Almost
I've
every gamer has heard of it.
I've probably like seen it, but like what's it, how's it spelled?
Uh, Kaizo.
Kaizo Mario World
Yeah.
images. Oh yeah, I've heard of this shit. Um yeah.
So now, here's my question on that. Would you find taking the challenge of Kaizo Mario, would you find that using save states as a cheat for the game in order to beat it?
Like that okay, so here's the thing. All right. I I don't I am not the kind of individual that goes out of my way to make something harder on myself unless I absolutely have to. Okay. So like I'm there to enjoy video games. I'm there to enjoy my time playing video games. Like
Mhm.
I don't want to have a stressful experience playing video games. But here's the thing. I will raise the difficulty on video games if one, the difficulty is something that I feel like I complete as part of the platinum trophy.
Mhm.
Okay. So for example, we'll use Resident Evil 3 Remake. Hiking the difficulty up to hardcore was something that I felt like I can easily do. And I think I've done that with a few other games as well. Played the game. So another thing too, you know, Halo 3, you know, the Halo games, right?
Mhm.
Usually there's a trophy associated with completing the game on the hardest difficulty. Solo usually. And I frequently would just start the game on that difficulty first time playing it through. Um because one, it was a difficulty that I felt like I couldn't complete, And if I did it, I would unlock like 3 or 4 trophies at a single time, because it would unlock the hardest difficulty plus it would unlock the difficulty that you're playing on and any difficulties lower than that all at the same time.
Right.
I feel like I've deterred from the question again. So the point that I'm trying to make is like using saves. I mean, I'm the kind of person that would save, but like I said, there's individuals out there who would be like, no, bro, that doesn't count. There's hardcore people out there. I mean, one of the reasons why I gave my platinum trophy for Elden Ring an asterisk is because I did things that the Soulsborne community would probably think that my platinum trophy was less than legitimate. Does that make sense? So so honestly, it boils down to the user's definition of a speed run and what is acceptable in a run. Anyways,
oh, go ahead. Yeah, I'm honestly enjoying this.
It's hard for me to answer that question because I think everybody's answer is different. I personally don't think that there's a right or wrong answer to the question. I truly believe that people should be allowed to play video games that they want to play. People should be allowed to play video games that they want to play them without being ridiculed. So like if I was playing, I have a friend, she's a sweetheart. She's one of my best internet friends. She's a Soulsborne person through and through. Kristen, I love you. You're great, but you're a little strict on your Soulsborne. A little strict on your Soulsborne rules.
Sounds like a girl after my own heart.
And she, I've told her, it's like, oh yeah, I did this, I did that, and she's like, psh. I mean, she honestly, she jokes, she was just joking about it, but like she does, and ultimately she really doesn't care. But like, I know what her rules are when it comes to Soulsborne games. She doesn't summon other people in. She's great. She's really good at Souls. She doesn't summon other people in. She does everything on her own, and
she just knows how to work the system.
Yeah, she knows how to do it. She knows how to do it. Sorry, I keep looking at my TV, so I'm actually okay. So I'm doing a couple things. I download. Well, I'll you know what? We'll end the podcast with why I have my PlayStation 5 on.
This should be good.
Okay, so I do have one other old game that I want to talk about, and I think that it is one of the best games that nobody has ever played.
All right, bring it.
Okay. PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy. Okay. This game.
Gosh, you're hitting a really deep memory right now. Fuck.
Have you played this game?
I think I've played it over at my friend's house. I never owned it, but I believe I have played it.
It is such a good game. It is so good. And unfortunately, like it ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. And because like I think this company Midway, it went out of business. Midway went out of business, and essentially like it could and the game, honestly, like it didn't sell well. I mean, I don't know when I bought I don't know how long into like the game cycle I bought the game in. Like I bought it for like $20 at a Walmart when I was like 16. So like the game obviously wasn't brand new when I bought it. It just looked cool. Like I knew nothing. I mean, this was like when the internet still used dial-up. I couldn't look shit up, right? Like I didn't know anything about like when games came out and this, that, or the other. I would be lucky to see an advertisement for a game on TV, so I don't know when this game came out, but oh god, speaking of other two, we had two other Midway games.
Midway
Okay.
actually had some pretty good games when they.
PlayStation 2 had so many fire games. Okay, but seriously, PsyOps the Mindgate conspiracy, it's about this guy. He's got all these psychic abilities, and he's like also got amnesia. So throughout the game, he's regaining his memories, and he's
Mhm.
also regaining his psychic abilities. So like he gets telekinesis, right? So he can move. He can like pick people up, throw them. He could pick objects up, throw the objects at people. The ragdoll physics in this game, it was like ahead of its time, like so ahead of its time. Um, and then could he read he can remote view, so like he can like send his mind out of his body and like look, basically like go through doors and look through doors without actually, and then he could watch enemy movements and things like that.
Mhm.
Pyrokinesis, he had pyrokinesis. What other abilities did he have? Mind drain, he could basically like sneak up behind somebody and like basically suck the life out of people,
Mhm.
destroying their brain. It was cool, such a cool game. um
So
and
to let our listeners know, we were saying Midway Games. When we're saying that Midway Games actually did have a hold on our childhood, they're also the ones that did NBA Jam, Mortal Kombat, Cruisin' USA. Like, no, they were known for their games. So the fact
um
that they still are kind of bringing stuff out is actually really
are
phenomenal.
they still out? Are they still developing? I thought they went under.
I'm that's what I'm trying to look at right now. It looks like the last one was about 2004, which is around the same time that Psyops came out, or
Oh, okay.
2009 actually. Now that I'm looking here,
Okay, got it.
so
um
one of the
but
last games they did was Mortal Kombat versus DC.
okay. um so no, I thought Capcom. No, Capcom was not Mortal Kombat, huh? Okay,
No, they weren't.
okay. That's Street Fighter. Capcom Street
But
Fighter. Uh,
Capcom is
it's Street Fighter. That's their fighting game.
it's Street Fighter, but they also have Capcom versus some
Marvel.
versus.
I think it's Cap. Oh no, wait, hang on. What?
No, I
It's
think it
like
is
it's like
Capcom versus Marvel.
yeah. But okay, so the other really great PlayStation 2 games was The Suffering and The Suffering 2. Have you ever played The Suffering?
I've never even heard of that.
You've never heard of The Suffering? Oh, dude,
No.
these games were sick. And like, if I could get my hands on it now, the issue is they're like $90. Hey, yeah, Juicy. What's going on, bro? What's
Jeez,
going on,
thank
dude?
you very much. Yeah, Marvel
That
versus
that's
Capcom. That's what it was. Okay.
that's Jeremiah. Um and dude, do you want to get in here? Um so yeah, so yeah, the suffering like, oh god. Let's see if I could like here. One moment.
Well, while you're looking that up, I think I can tell you a game that you probably have never heard of. Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. Exactly. It is a 2000, or I'm sorry, not 2000. It is a let me see here. It is a Nintendo 64 game that
Okay.
in the US it came out in 1998. It
Okay,
is
I'm gonna
literally the first RPG I have ever played.
okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. And then we're gonna watch this trailer. Okay. Um
Do it, do it.
Hopefully I don't get in trouble for this. I just keep the volume low, and but check this out.
All right.
Oh wait, is this a legit trailer? It is a legit trailer.
What
Um
was were those monkey people?
kind of they're like messed up monkey people, or they're messed up humans that have been like who have been like warped by like demons, and they're like undead kind of things.
Okay,
So
so this was like a horror game then.
yeah, it's a horror game. So it's about this guy. It's about this inmate right here,
Hmm.
and he basically how it can how the game can unfold. The game can unfold in 3 different ways based off your actions within the game. He can be if you do everything good, he can be wrongly accused of the crimes that he committed.
Mhm.
If you do things kind of halfways, he essentially, oh God, how does he do it? It's like some weird like half bad, half good ending where like he like he like accidentally drowns his wife and like then his kids commit suicide or something. It's pretty messed up.
Where it happens to him, but at the same time, he doesn't necessarily have a hand in what happened to him.
I'd have to go look at it. And like he could turn into this big monster here, right? But it's more of like along the lines of like that's just kind of like his rage form. I think that's just a symbol. But like, and then the super bad ending is if you do all these bad things, he basically kills his wife and kills his kids. So there's 3 different endings. And it all has to do with how you help other people escape the island. So this was one of my favorite games as a teenager. One of my absolute favorite games. So I wish that I could find it, but it's like $100 on Amazon, and I'm trying. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's worth it to hopefully get a game that hopefully works. You know what I mean? I got lucky with these games. I got lucky with Psyops and Lord of the Rings. Anyways, I'll stop this. Let's see here, Amazon. The Suffering.
In all honesty, if you're telling me like around the time that came out, it's kind of sounding like Legend of the Dragoon. Do you remember playing that?
I've heard of it. Oh, I could buy used for $83.
Dude, that's like Digimon World, man.
That's like, I mean, that's not terrible. I'd get free delivery in the next week or so. I mean, that's not terrible. Wait, hang on. I wonder what region this is. I'm really curious what region this is because this doesn't look this doesn't look like the box that I had it in. And it's got like this, it looks like it's got a Peggy 18. So I think this could be like a different region. As a matter of fact, I could probably check the reviews.
All right, here's my question for you. How much did you say that it went the highest when you were checking it?
It was like $100.
It was like $100.
Here we go. Let's see. Oh, hey, look, used for $80, and this is the one left in stock. And this is the right version right here. This is the version that I would need to get because I think that's the right region.
So first off, I will state, Jeremiah, I freaking love Brave Fencer Musashi. That is such an underrated game. That is ridiculous. So that is awesome that is your favorite game. To you, Brent, I actually did go ahead and look up how much a used version of the original Digimon World goes for.
How much is it?
$160.
Oh, Jesus. Old
for
games are getting
used
too expensive.
Version.
Oh, my God.
A used version. It is such a good game. I am not kidding you. It is ridiculous how good it is. And I actually have it.
Whoa, this person is selling the suffer. Whoa, these are actually like eBay selling the Suffering for like $50.
No, if you're actually looking for like older games, you want to look on eBay. A lot of times they do actually have pretty good deals.
Dude, oh my God. Like, I think the next time I have some money lying around and I'm not spending it on manga, I think I'm going to buy a copy of The Suffering and maybe even The Suffering 2. The Suffering 2 is cool because it's actually one of the first games that started like analyzing your memory card to see what kind of information was on a different one, on a different game. So like depending on the actions of the suffering of the first suffering, it transfers over into the suffering 2.
Interesting.
So it was kind of like the sort of like early signs of like what Mass Effect did. Oh man, now I gotta like maybe I need to hunt down like an OG PlayStation 2 copy of Resident Evil 4. Anyways, I'm getting off
Do
topic
it.
here.
I think we actually have the
It's
Switch
probably
version,
expensive as
honestly.
hell. But dude, I should get the suffering and like play it on Twitch.
You should, dude. Honestly, when it comes to nostalgia, everybody loves it. I mean, how many people actually tune in to watch Pokemon? I mean, come on. And when I say Pokemon, I mean like the original red, blue, green versions
Sure.
of Pokemon. Like,
Right.
people love nostalgia, and a lot of the times, a lot of the older games, because they did not have like the graphics and everything, you had to make up with it with the gameplay. You had to make up with it with the story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the remake of which one was it? Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3? They remade the game, and yeah, it looks prettier, but they cut a lot of the story out, so you actually do miss a ton of the story itself.
They really didn't cut much out of Resident Evil 2. They didn't. They
Was
didn't
Resident
cut much.
Evil? As I'm saying, like, I'm not. I haven't played Resident Evil. I'm not necessarily a Resident Evil fan. I have played some of the games, but like all the older games, I don't really know. I do remember it is the one with what? Oh, who
Now,
was it? It was
so
the one where there was a bell tower, and you
right,
had to go in the bell
That's
tower.
Resident Evil 3. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
Resident Evil 3.
there was some stuff cut from Resident Evil 3. I don't know why they decided to cut it. Honestly, it doesn't I'm actually one of the few people who I don't care that it was cut. I don't care. Like the game is still great. I really liked the Resident Evil 3 remake. People who are saying that it was too short don't seem to understand that with Resident Evil 2. Okay, I like the Resident Evil 3 remake a lot, but and it does come off as short. Like you like first playthrough you can beat in about 6 hours, okay?
Mhm.
But here's the thing. Resident Evil 2 might seem longer because there's 2 campaigns, right? You've got a Leon campaign, you've got a Claire campaign, but you're playing the same campaign twice, just, minus a few, just, except for a few different differentiations between the 2 games.
It
So
was different. It was two different perspectives. It was the same thing, but two different perspectives.
exactly, like you're fighting the same bosses, you're doing you're doing a lot of the same things over again, just different variations of them. So like a lot of the same puzzles, but like different versions of
Right.
it.
It was kind of like
They're-
Evil Within and the Evil Within DLC. You
okay,
had two different. No, you actually had three different perspectives, all taking the same journey and all of them intersecting somehow, and it's kind
yeah,
of the same thing.
yeah, something like that. So like, but if you take Resident Evil 2, the Resident Evil 2 remake, right? Okay,
Mhm.
and if you play just Leon, it's a 6-hour game.
Mhm.
You could if you like if you have the like for me like I don't really have the wherewithal for this anymore. I like my brain is just kind of fried from like 5 years of going to raves. Like I don't have like the um it's been more than that. It's pushing almost 10 years. But that I digress. So like um I don't have the patience to sit down and like binge game for like 10 hours like I used to unless I really love the game.
Mhm.
Um, but like you could sit and you could beat Resident Evil 6 in a 6-hour stint, or not Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 2 remake in a 6-hour stint. It's a
Mhm.
short game. One campaign is a short game. One campaign is a short campaign. Um, uh, so like I think that people who try to compare Resident Evil 3 remake to Resident Evil 2 remake, like it's just like, dude, like sure Resident Evil 2 is longer, kinda, but like you're playing the same game twice.
Mhm.
Resident Evil
Mhm.
3, you're getting one game once. You're playing,
Mhm.
yeah. Anyways, I think I steered off topic again. Um, I don't know
No
what we were
worries,
talking
no
about.
worries. We're just chilling, having a good time.
No, I don't know what your original comment was. Oh, you were talking about cut content in remakes,
Right.
right? Um, I mean, it happens.
I
Um,
kind of understand where people are coming from, though. Is
that is actually a, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. That is a
no, go
genuine concern of mine for Resident Evil 4 is cut
ahead.
content.
Mhm. Well,
The Resident Evil 4 remake.
that's kind of the whole thing that I do also have with the Final Fantasy VII remake, is
Mm-hmm.
because the Final Fantasy VII remake is nothing really like Final Fantasy VII when it first came out. It is different, but that's kind of the spice that they put into it, is because yes, it is different because it's a different universe kind of thing. And it's
Right.
a different way of thinking about the storyline. So
Yeah,
that's
it's like
the
an
only way
alternate.
that I kind of look at remakes, is it's not the same game, but it's hitting the same beats because it is the same story. It's just a
Right.
different universe, different
Right.
choices. But not
Yeah.
just looking at like some of the stuff. Oh, dude, I'm just feeling old with how many games had come out. I mean, one of the
Dude.
things that I did not even realize is the fact that Dragon Age Origins Awakening came out in 2010. That is one of my favorite RPG games that, yes, I will continuously play, and I will continuously play different roles to see exactly how the game plays differently because of the different roles and the different perspectives. I mean, for example, like you can start out as a mage and you can literally be belittled by everyone that you meet because you're a mage, and then play as a warrior and everybody just treats you like a normal person because you're not a mage. It's like, what the hell? I did not even realize all this stuff was
It's
happening during that time.
so I think, there yes, video games these days are fantastic, and you can't and they have become a new storytelling medium, but I think something has, in my opinion, there something has been lost. And a that is just genuine video games. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to explain. So one of the reasons why I like the Borderlands series so much, and I guess you can say that Borderlands 1 and possibly even Borderlands 2 could qualify as an old game now. And
Mhm.
but Borderlands 1, there's one of the reasons why I like those games so much is that, in my opinion, those games are pure, unadulterated gaming. Okay. That is video game. In my opinion, those games are video games in their purest form.
Mhm.
Okay. It's just fun. It's fun. Now, and one of the it's got good gameplay. Usually, the story's pretty solid. Okay, it's flashy. It's amazing. It's chaotic and it's great. Okay,
Mhm.
um, and one of the reasons why. Okay, and this isn't me just ranting about Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, this is like me trying to do a legit critique, right? So here's the issue with Red Dead Redemption 2. It's a polished turd, okay? Um and and the game looks great, okay? And one of the reasons why I'm looking at my PlayStation 5 is because it's Red Dead Redemption 2 related.
Mhm.
Someone sent um okay. Um one
Sorry to distract you.
that wasn't as subtle as it should be. You should just like text me next time. Um,
I can do that.
um so um because I had to shift over to a private screen. Um so the issue with Red Dead Redemption 2 is that uh sure, it looks pretty and maybe it tells a great story. I don't know. I haven't beaten it, but the gameplay is horrible. It's
Mhm.
a horrible, clunky game. When it boils down to playing it, okay. Um, one of the reasons why I like God of War so much is that it is not only a great story, but it's got a polished gameplay experience. It's
Mhm.
smooth. It plays great. Okay.
I think that's
But
definitely one thing to consider when it comes to video games, is just what is the gameplay like? I mean, you can even look at Super Mario Brothers. What's the storyline of Super Mario Brothers? A princess gets kidnapped and you have to rescue her.
Right.
That's it. But
So
it's still such a fun game to play.
yeah, Resident Evil 4, great game, interesting story. The gameplay basically revolutionized a new perspective of playing.
Mm,
Um, it was ahead of its time, and then Mass Effect 2, another really great game, polished gameplay, polished storytelling. It's it's a great game. So that is one of my big issues with that is one of my big issues with gaming these days, is that I feel like a lot of games are just simply trying to do too much. And here we have, and we've gone over some really interesting games, and I feel like there might even need to be a part 2 to this conversation, because I feel like I've spoken over you a lot. um uh it feels like we glossed over your games a lot quicker than we glossed over mine. um but like these older games, they're just fun. They're fun. They're like, it's like they're 8 hours of pure fun, right?
mm,
Like it, it, and I think that's really important, that a game just truly needs to be fun in order for it to be good. Okay. And sometimes I feel like games, uh one, they get too big for their britches, and therefore the fun has to be found.
mm,
I don't want to find fun. Are you kidding me? I want it to
mm,
be fun right away. I paid $60, $70.
mm,
I want to have fun. People are like, well, you should try to get past the 10 hours in Resident Evil, or not in Red Dead Redemption 2. The fun starts after 10 hours. If a game's fun starts after 10 hours, there's a serious problem.
mm.
Um,
I actually do have to kind of agree with you on that. I think that's why, as I'm getting older, I'm starting to move more towards rogue type games,
sure.
is because that's the whole thing. Is, yeah, there's a storyline, but for the most part, it's you're being dropped in the middle of the game and you're just trying to survive, kind of thing.
Sure.
And it's just kind of like that repeated effort. But that's what is fun about it, is you're learning how to play the game. You're learning the different move sets of
Mm-hmm.
enemies. You're learning the different ways that you can use your abilities or use your skills, and you're basically just trying to one up the game. Where a lot of the big name games now, they're more along the lines of the storyline and the characters. And it's like, okay, that's great, but I don't want to have to be walking across a land for 5 minutes to get to the quest line
Mm-hmm.
and have these things that I could do, but I'm pretty much not going to do because they're just repeated events instead
Mm-hmm.
of, keeping me engaged the entire time.
Yeah. And we'll start wrapping it up here. I do have a few other statements that I want to make.
Go
So
ahead.
so we'll, and we'll use Starfield as an example. Okay, Starfield is one of the most anticipated games of 2023. Okay, it's apparently supposed to be a really big game. Lots of places to explore, lots of things to do. But about 6 months ago, a former person who worked at Bethesda said that they're still trying to find the fun. They're still
Mm-hmm.
trying to find the fun in the game. Okay, that's concerning to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's this big game. Hundreds of hours per person are expected to spend time in this game. But how much of those 100 hours are actually fun? So so
Mm-hmm.
like so Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, 15-hour platinum trophy. Okay, but it was 15 hours of fun, all from the start to finish. And I think that's more important than something looking pretty or having a great story. Like I yeah. Um, any final comments, Casey? And then I have two like kind of announcements. And if Juicy's still here, he would appreciate these announcements. So,
uh,
Casey, do you have any final statements?
Final statements is, first off, give in to nostalgia. If you
Yeah.
want to play old games, freaking play them. I've done Pokemon. I don't know how many times I've done Pokemon. I've even challenged myself doing Nuzlocks and randomizer Nuzlocks. I If you find a game fun, don't let anybody tell you that it is not, because
Amen.
it
Amen.
will be. If
Yeah.
you find enjoyment out of it, find the enjoyment, because it is quickly kind of being soaked up right now.
Mm-hmm. So, so with that being said, um, Jeremiah, if you're still here, I actually have something. So basically, what I've been doing is I've been downloading a couple games to my PlayStation 5 here. I have just, with all of the ranting and raving about Red Dead Redemption 2 that I make. People think that my opinion is less than legitimate because I haven't completed the game. So I have decided that I'm going to force myself to play this game that I hate. Um, uh, I actually had recently started it over again, but I got done with the intro, and I just wanted to like throw myself off a cliff. It was awful. The intro is just horrible. Anyways, so I have decided that I'm going to replay Red Dead Redemption 2, but there's some rules. There's some rules that I'm setting for myself. The first rule is um, I have to play the story in its entirety. Okay. I have to at least play the story. I have to play the story in its entirety. Second, I don't plan on veering off from the story too much. I kind of just want to play and get it over with. However, some friends are going to recommend a few side missions for me to do, which apparently, quote unquote, enhance the experience. Um, so I'm going to do that. Um, the third and final rule is that even though it is my intention to stick to Golden Path all the way through, okay, if I come across something that seems interesting, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So that way it's not just that way, like, that way it doesn't feel forced, and I'm also like doing things beyond the main story. But in order for me to keep myself sane while I'm playing this horrible game that everyone seems to love, I'm going to be playing a game that is supposedly horrible that I really love, and that is Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, so I've been downloading Red Dead Redemption 2 and Cyberpunk 2077 to my PlayStation 5 for the past like 3 hours. Cyberpunk is taking its sweet fucking time. Um, so that is Casey. One more time. Any final thoughts? Any final comments? And then we'll
Any final comments? Enjoy life, and if you feel like things are getting boring with older games, just try to challenge yourself. That's literally all you have to do sometimes, is make rules for yourself. You don't Others don't have to follow them. You don't have to follow others' rules. Just make rules for yourself and try to challenge yourself and beat these games that you hold dear while holding yourself to different rules than what others play.
yeah.
It's honestly one of the best ways to play, and it's so rewarding when you actually beat the game.
Well, so that about wraps it up for the show. We'll be back next Thursday. Let's see, next Thursday. What's going on next Thursday? Okay, thank God nothing's happening next Thursday.
We will
Things
be
are
back next Thursday. That's what's happening.
We will be back next Thursday, and we will have a new topic. Don't know what that topic will be. Casey and I generally come up with these topics
Off the
maybe
top
the
of
night
our heads.
before or the day of. This was, I think we came up with this topic last week. Um, but yeah, we will be back. Our goal is to always to record from 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern time. Um, and we've been, yeah. Anyways, we're trying to keep this to an hour, so we will call it a night. If you enjoyed this podcast and you're new here, please consider liking, subscribing. We talk video games, anime, manga, just kind of whatever we feel like talking about. Mostly those three things. I know it's cliche, but we love them.
And
um
possibly we'll have Jeremiah or Juicy in the next one.
oh yeah, we love him. We need to talk. Oh, we'll need to talk about trash summer anime pretty soon. Anyways, um Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.
Be happy,
Peace.
humans.